Hello, hello, hello. We're back for an episode of Knives and Nose. We have been gone for some months now. It's literally been months. I think February was the last time we recorded. But everybody got stuff going on. You know, it's been a lot of changes, good changes. You know, just a lot of growth, I think, for all of us. So, you know, that takes away, you know, sometimes some things that you want to do, but we're getting back to it. Working on our work-life balance, getting back to recording and everything else, because all of us at some point don't want to be doing the 9 to 5 anymore. So we got things going on. You know what I'm saying? It's been very nice.
Yes, we are calling that.
So we're just gonna take this like
ghetto. This working is ghetto.
It's ghetto.
It really is. I don't like it. I don't want to do
it.
Where's
the worst hood
I like it out of here. Where's the key?
I've ever lived in.
Like, can we rip my contract up? Because this ain't it. This is not
right. I'm just tired.
So yeah, we'll just give like a brief little update on what we got going on. Who want to go first? All right, go ahead, Tori.
Work. But moving, still a little bit of traveling. I went to Seattle last weekend to visit some friends of mine that I met on a yoga retreat, and Washington was cute. It was cute. The food was good. Weather was perfect, but apparently like that weather only lasts for like 2 weeks. So came just in time, but it was a good food trip, a good like outdoorsy trip. Got back. But yeah, just working. I got some things business wise in the works because again, to your point, corporate. But so, you know, it's becoming that for me, and I'm trying to figure out ways to remove myself from it to save my mental sanity. Grateful always, but moves are being made, and I'm excited about it.
Yay!
Yes. Same working. Started a new job. I am on a completely different career path, which is nerve-wracking, but also exciting. So just work, you know, the same ghetto stuff that we're trying to get out of doing, because this setup is just 0 out of 10. I'm over it.
And you have a senior now, a senior in high school?
Oh my God, yes. She just had her last day of school. Is that how you say it? Last, first?
Yeah, last day. First.
Yeah, because it's the first day of school, but
last first day of high school. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So we're doing that, talking about cap and gown already. I'm getting emails. I'm like, wait, she just started.
Layaway and payment already? Inflation.
Girl, yes, give me a minute.
Inflation that bad? So, you got layaway, cap and gown 4 years. I like the encouragement, like, you know, the belief that we gonna make it, but dang, like.
Yeah, it's only 2 days in. Only 2 days. But yeah, it's exciting. It's very sad. I catch myself, you know, getting a little emotional because she'll be 18 this year, and then in 9 months she's gonna be walking across the stage. So
so exciting.
She's getting across that stage.
You gotta push her. She gonna go. I'm just joking.
Give them a little.
Yeah, that's very exciting. I'm excited for her. I mean, for me, it's just a lot of work. You know, got a promotion, which was nice. A little extra change on the check, you know what I'm saying? But it has been a lot of work. My schedule has like changed. It keeps changing. So even like I was kid free all summer. Usually I have a trip, something planned. I ain't do nothing. I don't have work. But like you said, Tori, it has driven me even harder to work on these other things, the podcast. I finally got my camera, so start my photography. You can see in the background over there. Got my names and all that picked out, you know, so we gonna make this a whole media conglomerate, and we ain't anyone gonna work no 9 to 5. That's the goal. Right. I never said it out loud before. One of my other friends was actually kind of my inspiration, but I am going to be retired from 9 to 5 within the next 10 years. That's the goal. That's what's going to happen. And I'm not doing that no more. So we're just not going to do it. So yay for all of us. Yes, progress, change, all those things are always good. But a lot has happened since we talked last. Last time we talked, it was the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing where Will Smith went and pop Chris Rock across the face. Since then, Will Smith has posted a video apology to Chris Rock and his mother and brothers and grandmother and, you know, his daddy's second cousin on his daddy
uncles,
side.
Nieces, nephews.
Very on brand. Very on brand.
Yes.
I expect that. And remember, I said that I was like, that's going to be a way for him to launch another platform of like healing and growth and forgiveness.
And sure enough, like, I mean, I had already seen the previews for it anyway. Obviously, it was already something in the works, but maybe a week or so after he posted that apology, the Men in Black thing on Netflix, Men in Black 3 popped up. Like, yep, new movie out. Back to working, you know, that kind of thing. Obviously, again, that movie's they've been working on that. So,
yeah,
it's not like it just all of a sudden came. But, you know, it's a little convenient.
Everybody always be your
method to everybody's madness.
Yeah.
No publicity.
Yeah, and he said Chris Rock wasn't ready to, you know, talk, at least at the time. He posted the video anyway. They may have talked by now, who knows? But
again,
you know,
I will come up for Chris Rock. Not that Chris Rock wasn't already, you know, within his own right already famous, but I mean, he's selling out now because people want him to talk about it, you know, poke fun at it, like, and do his Chris Rock thing. So I think he goes on to make a good bit of money kind of milking it. Milking the
because even in his last comedy special, he didn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't ready to talk
about it. Tony Rock Joe been talking about it. He said, if I was there, I would have, yeah. He sure would have got at Will for sure. I saw his interview on podcast. I don't know whatever he was on talking about.
I'm still mad at like he let us host.
Huh?
One time they let us host, and
that's how we show out.
Here we go.
Here we go with the booze.
Can we just not ever once like there's not show out like that? Can we like conduct the whole thing?
Kumbaya.
Right? Can we just do that? But either way, entertaining. That's what we do.
Yeah, like you said, very on brand for the Smiths' healing journey, and you know, it's just we're always in work. It's always work. You have to do the work.
Always a process.
It's yes, that's a process. Done a lot of meditating and speaking with my spiritual advisors. You know, so I get it. That's good. Of course, we all have work to do. You know,
I'll open up a therapy platform.
In a way, I kind of feel like it's always like slightly ironic to me, right? You want to be an actor, you want to be a music artist, whatever it is, you want people to see you. Mm-hmm. And so whether it's our right to or not as the fans or the consumers, you know, we naturally want to know, oh, well, who is this person? Because I really like how they were in that movie. So then you start putting all your business out there, and then you don't want nobody talking about your business. But like, you work so hard to get your business out there. You wanted us to see you. Now we're looking at you like, don't look at me. Like, it don't make sense.
It don't make sense. Look at me, don't look at me.
The whole relationship on Instagram. And then people who put their whole relationship on Instagram from like beginning to end, and then all of a sudden they're just like, we'd like some privacy during
respect our privacy. Like, well, we wouldn't know what was going on with y'all.
Put my stories back on this week.
I know, because now I'm fully invested in y'all relationship too.
Y'all, you gotta let me know what's going on, good and bad. Like, we read it. Like, don't cut me off.
Turn it back on now.
Right, good and bad. Right, like I want all of it. If you're gonna put it out there, go ahead and show it. Or like the people that cry on camera.
Don't be mad now because people comment and you know it makes 2 cents in.
You open yourself up, or just go ahead and turn off your comments. If you don't, if you just want people to spectate and not comment, which they're still going to comment elsewhere, but if you don't want to see it, turn off your comments and do it right. But don't stop the show. You know, General Hospital. These are my news stories. My grandma had, you know, Young and Restless. I had Instagram relationships.
Yeah.
Right. You put it all on the red table. Well, shoot, I want to see. Come back to the table. Where you going? You know.
My friend
talked about it.
She puts like the life of her chickens. Like she got chickens, and so like every day there's like a story about her chickens. And now I'm like involved. I'm like, ooh, well, what that chicken do?
What's going on with the chicken?
Right, this chicken last week, so this chicken mad. Okay, well, I mean, Helga is laying all her eggs, but like, Dorothy over here a little dry egg wise.
It's like the same with like people's kids. Like during this back to school, I'd be like, she in the 4th grade now. She just rolled right on. I've never seen these people in my life. Never spoken to these people.
The baby's so big
on social media, but I'm like, I want to sit there at my phone looking all proud, like it's my child. Like
smiling.
Believe it. I've watched your child grow up, and I don't know.
She just rolled right on up. I don't even know nothing about this child, but we put everything out there.
That is so funny.
Yeah, it's fine. Always fine. Even with us doing this podcast, and like it reminds me too, I had posted like one of my workout things, me doing flips, and somebody, for whatever reason, I can't figure out the algorithm, but that particular video had like a lot of views, right? So people were commenting, whatever, and I usually just delete them. But this one guy or whatever put, you didn't even do anything. Like he was hating on my pull-ups, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I felt some kind of way at first, but I'm like, well, okay, you put it out there, so people are going to comment, their opinion. So I just end up deleting it anyway.
So that's not an opinion though.
For that,
bro. Some people are just nasty.
Yeah. Some people just trolling. Yeah, like you said. But yeah, hey, that's the social media world that we live in. Speaking of which, now obviously, again, we've been gone for a minute, so a lot of these things we're talking about have been happening like within the last few months at least. But Saucy Santana, that's what we're going to talk about. Because now Felicia and I happened to see him in concert. It was last year, before he like really blew up like he is now. And he was, he's very like outgoing, and he talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He put on a good show now.
Yeah, he most definitely does. Like I had a good time. I'm like, okay, Saucy, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, whatever show this was, I don't even know how many months ago. It's been a couple months now, and I actually just watched the video. During he's talking in between songs, whatever. He proceeds to talk about how women, when you need this and this, you call the gays. When you need this, you need that, and for the most part, saying that it's the gays that are teaching women how to be women, because without them, they are the blueprint.
Sure.
And it's been a lot of commentary about it, but I saw it and I was like, I get what he's saying about the whole fashion sense, right? Because a lot of designers and things like that, they are men, that design women clothes and things like that. However, let's not forget who you are. I don't want to say imitating, but quote unquote imitating when you're doing all this snapping
it is
the nails
emulation
and all that. Emulation. There we go. Emulation.
You can even improve upon it, but you're not the blueprint, baby. We're the
just not.
It's like you could never, as hard as you try, full beard, makeup, nails, heels, you can never be a woman. You can't be us. There's just no way.
You are.
Yes, you may design the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You're designing the clothes. Fabulous. But that is all you're doing. You're giving us something to wear, but you're not giving us a foundation that we were already born with. You're trying to be us.
Yeah, right. The whole snapping back thing and the roll in the neck, and y'all didn't come up with that like combustible out of nowhere. You saw that through us, and then you decided to emulate us
and over exaggerate it.
Yeah, and then you exaggerate it, and then you kind of move forward with it. But that don't make you the blueprint, though.
Most definitely does not.
Fix your words.
I'll give it to you. Say you've improved upon certain things. That's fine. You've gotten more creative and you improved on stuff, but don't call yourself
the blueprint.
The blueprint.
That was the exact word.
The black women are the blueprint.
Like period, and that's all you got to say about that. Period. That's it.
Period, poo.
Exactly. I get it, to a certain extent. Like I get maybe where he was trying to go with it, but again, that whole "we are the blueprint." That's what like, you went too far now. No, like let's be real. Let's be real.
And if that's not what he was trying to say, I need him to rescind it.
Mhm.
in fix his words, because maybe that's not what he was trying to say, like how we're taking it, but that's definitely
Right.
how it comes across.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Give actual credit where credit is due. And
Not with you.
all that
Kelsey.
comes from Black women. And it's just exaggerated and, built upon, which is great, but
Mhm.
that didn't come from you.
I actually had
No.
this discussion. It wasn't that particular thing. This discussion with somebody just last night, matter of fact. And I was slightly getting irritated a little bit, just because we were talking about women and, how women grow and mature and stuff like that. And I was just saying, he was telling me about his situation. And I was saying, well, that may have been whatever it was. But for women, a lot of times, and this is what older women would tell me before I turned 30, like, oh, you're blah, 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 but you really come into your own when you're in your 30s. And now that I'm at the end of my 30s, I'm like, yeah, that's actually kind of true. Like I feel like I really know who I am. I'm confident who I am. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know what I'm willing to compromise on, what I'm not willing. I really came into my own throughout my 30s. And then he's like going back and forth with me about, no, she was, you basically defending the person, but she was this and that. She was financially independent. I'm like, I'm not talking about finances. But anyway, the whole conversation, I'm like, you're a man. Like, let's be very clear. You're a man. So everything you're saying is from a man's perspective. It's from what you may have observed, but either way, it's from a man's perspective. You cannot tell me, a woman, what it's like to mature and grow and come into your own as a woman. Like, you can't tell me that because you're a man. Well, I beg to differ. Well, you're going to differ because you're a man. Like, what is this about? Like, I just had to just change the subject.
I don't presume to know what it's like to be a man because I'm not a man.
Exactly.
And I get it. Like, a lot of times there's like this, I feel like obviously there's always like this thing on like splitting hairs, and everybody like, and it's all about like technicalities and what people mean. And so you get people that are like, woman gender wise. And when we say gender, then you have to decide, are you talking about physiological, biological gender, or are you talking about gender and how we present ourselves? So if you go into like gender and how you present yourself, yeah, you can choose to present yourself front facing any way you want or how you feel. Like, to me personally, I know there's a lot of people who have a problem with that in general, but for me personally, I don't care how you want to be identified or how you want to present yourself. Do you, no matter whether you trans male, trans woman, whether you go through the whole like, cosmetic change, or however you want to, do that. And what he, she, they, them. There's the new one, ZXE. Yeah.
What's that?
Some people don't even want to be identified as they, them. So there's a new set of pronouns that are trying to make headway. They're not quite there yet, but it's like Z or Zay or something, XE. Look it up. It's interesting. And for me, again, however you want to be addressed, that's on you. That's personal.
Yes.
But biologically, I think there's still a difference between a biological male and female, which we've always said woman and man. And I think that when you start splitting hairs and people get up in arms about, about being called, when we say like women, I'm not talking about essentially spiritual women. Lots of times we're talking about what it means to be a biological woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Having it be okay to say I am a woman by means of identifying as a biological woman. And people get very like cagey, cat-like about it, but it's just like, for the most part, most people aren't trying to fight anybody about that. Like, you identify how you want to, but when I'm talking about women, I'm talking about biological women, and that's okay. I can talk about whoever I want. I can talk about biological women and not talk about trans women.
Right, and exactly.
It's not taking anything away from them.
No, not taking anything away from the fact that there are still differences in the way our lives, in the way that we grow, in the way that we carry ourselves, and the experience that we have. Our biology has,
and there's a reason that the word trans is in front of it, because that's where you then say, okay, so biologically speaking, this person may not have been born female, but they are female by transformation, right? Trans woman, trans female. That's what now they are identifying or choosing to present, or however they want to call it. There's the reason that word is in front of woman. That's where we draw the difference. Like, okay, so biologically you may have been born a male, but you are transforming into a woman, however you look or whatever it is that they do to become a woman. What they feel becomes a woman. Like it's very. And I saw this interview with and it was a very short snippet with the girl Candace Owens, who's very, if you know anything about Candace Owens, like,
yeah, let me fix my face.
Yeah, and Mark Lamont Hill. However, what she was saying, I had to agree with, because he's again splitting hairs with her about the difference between women and trans. And she said basically exactly the same thing that you just said, Tori. It's like, if you want to identify, that's one thing, but biologically you can't fight science. That's just what it is. Whatever name you want to put on it, you got either two X chromosomes and then the X and Y. Biologically, however it happens to happen that way, that's what it is.
Right. If a crime is committed and they get a sample of your DNA, it's going to
come back male or female, whatever you are biologically born,
male or female. Yeah. And just vernacularly, we've associated male with man and woman with female. And there's nothing wrong with that at all to me either. Just like, and I think it's just making sure that we understand, like, we all have our own journey. I can't speak for the life and journey of a trans woman.
Right.
I've
never been one. I don't know what it's like.
Born male and transitioned into a woman. So I don't have that layer of, special, I don't have that special journey that comes with that. Mm-hmm. I can't speak for that. I can't say, well, as a woman, I understand what trans women are going through. I have no idea.
No idea. Because it's more how I've heard them explain it. It's a feeling that they had at such a young age. So there's no way that anyone of us would know what that feels.
Right. So I feel like in the same sense, I pause at times when I hear, trans women saying that I am, a woman, and it's like, well, no, you are.
You have to define what that means.
You have your experience going from, one, presenting as one gender to another. And then in order to have the experience, hopefully, ultimately to have the experience of being, accepted as a woman facing, but my experience as a woman going from a little girl to a grown woman is different from a trans person starting from one biological gender and presenting as another. That's a whole different journey. They may all try to get to a same spot, but that's a different journey.
Right. My thing is always like, people have their opinions about it, whatever, I get it. Majority of it is like religion based, like traditional, religion based. You can have your opinion about that or how you feel, whatever. That part, honestly, I don't really care, to be honest with you. Like, what you want me to call you? That's my thing. What you want me to call you?
And how do you want me to?
And as long as you ain't like hurting me, not that you're how you choose to present yourself hurts me, but I mean hurting me in like a physical, emotional type of way. I really truly don't care. I really don't. Like, okay, you want me to call you, Susie? All right, Susie.
All right, Susie.
How you doing today, Susie? Like, I'm cool. You know what I mean? It's like we're getting into like, I feel like, and I was gonna post it one time and I did it. I don't even remember why. Maybe I forgot. Got distracted. But I was gonna post like, in an effort for us to humans in general, we've made such an effort to not have labels that now we've created so many labels that I can't freaking keep up, man. Just tell me what you want me to say. Just tell me. I can't keep up. And now you tell me about another pronoun. What is I can't. My brain is like, maybe if I was still in my 20s, I can remember it all, but I can't remember all this stuff. I just can't. No. What you want me to call you right now?
Yeah, what do you want?
And then that's what we gonna go with. Whatever you want to be, John.
Exactly.
Exactly. Are you coming with me to the ladies' bathroom or not?
Right.
Are you telling me that you feel safer in the ladies' bathroom? Okay, come on. I don't care. That's you. I'm not coming in and
start you. I'm still gonna pee regardless. If I gotta walk,
I gotta sit too.
You're not gonna stop me from peeing.
I don't care what you do in a stall. That's none of my concern. It's just you.
None.
And it's weird. It's weird fixation too to me around it. If a man feels, if a trans person feels more comfortable in a bathroom that they feel more comfortable in, okay.
Do that.
Why are you concerned about where people?
And quite frankly, like I know there's like weirdos and horrible people. No matter how you identify race, creed, it don't matter. There's bad people. Just humans are
We're gonna exist.
Really evil people.
Exist before.
So again, as long as you're not hurting me, I really truly don't care. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want my kids. Okay, if I don't want to run my kids, I just won't take my kids over to the spot where you at. Like, it's real simple. At least
and
to
it's
me.
crazy
like,
for people to say stuff like that. If you don't want that around your kids, you might as well homeschool your children. Because do you know that this is happening in the schools? Like, I went to so many of my daughter's performances, and there's gay young women, there's gay young men. One of her really good friends is trans. He is transitioning into a female. It's everywhere. So if you don't want your kids around it, take them out of school. Keep them locked up in the house
even
in a
like
bubble.
With mine, we were watching a TV show where they were talking about it, and it's a kid's show. It's on the kids thing on Netflix, and they were talking about gay and everything, and he made a comment, and I was just like, oh, okay. And I personally have never spoken to him about it, because to me, even though, like you said, if you want your kids to be away from it, then you're going to have to homeschool them, because I never spoken to him about it, but he made his comment. I was just like, okay, so that came from somewhere. He heard it from somewhere. It wasn't me, but somewhere. And to me, because of his age, I don't care what it is. I don't want anything sexual even introduced to him, period. I don't care hetero, like I don't want him watching nobody kissing, like none of it. I don't care who, man, woman, man, it don't matter. I prefer not to him, for him not to see that at this age. Because he's, I want to preserve his innocence as long as I possibly can. Obviously, again, he's not around me all the time, so he's seeing things and being introduced to things, and his friends, I don't know what his friends' parents, what they got going on at home. So even when I'm not telling him, or his dad isn't telling him, he's hearing it from somewhere. So you have to talk to him about it at some point, and like you said, unless you're going to keep him locked up, all the time. It's going to happen, whether you like it or not, and then you choose how, you speak to your children about it. But again, at the end of the day, I feel like you ain't hurting me. You ain't hurting my babies, because them the ones I'm going to act up about is my family and my children. Then,
do what you will.
You, John? John now? Okay. John, because I have a friend that transitioned, trans male, and it took me a minute. And the first time I was still calling her, by her given name, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. She was like, and he was like, oh, that's fine. I know, you got to get used to it. Like, all right, cool, thank you. Just give me a second to get used to it. Because last time I saw you was different than what it is now.
Like, I saw you one way, now I see you like this. Just give me a minute.
So my natural instinct, because I've been calling you this for years now I got to switch it. So like, okay, well now I got it. I know what your name is, and I can say your name, and it's, easy for me to remember at this point. But it's just, I don't know. People, have their opinions, and humans are going to do that. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as long as you're...
Do you?
Yeah. Do you? You ain't hurting nobody.
Right. But if we are in the business of calling things foundations or blueprints.
Yeah, that part.
Dig a little deeper.
Blueprints. Yeah, like you said, let's re-examine that. But if you want me to call you she, okay. All right. Like, that's cool. But yeah, it's a lot going on. So we definitely got more topics, more things, to discuss in these last few months that happened since the last time we recorded. But yeah, that's all for this episode. Yay, we back in it.
Yes.
We back in it. All right, y'all. Last words, last comments.
If you guys think people that you want us to go back and forth about, let us know.
Yes. Let us know. Oh, social media. I keep forgetting that we gotta shout that out. So Instagram, it's the same everywhere. Nija Knows on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. That's where you will find us, see our beautiful faces, or hear our lovely velvety
Voices.
voices.
Oh,
We gotta do the Usher challenge next one. We gotta do the Usher challenge on the next one.
Nika.
We are gonna do it. We are going to do it. The Usher challenge. I'm gonna play it for y'all. I'm gonna play it on the next one.
Watch this. Like what?
Not that one. We definitely gonna do that. This is gonna be hilarious. But anyway, all right, y'all. Peace out.
Bye.